Hey Leo, how are you?
Hi, Maria. I'm so excited for this. It's been already, what, 6 months, 12 months since our last conversation.
I think 12.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yes.
And we are in April 2024 at the time of this shooting, and there's so many developments I know in your professional life, in your personal life, and I'd love to catch up on everything and also to share your wisdom with me personally and with everybody else.
Great. So, where should we start from?
So I guess if you can take us up to speed to where you are right now, if you want to share anything about your personal life and your professional, most importantly.
So, at the moment, I am stable back in Dubai and I am putting all I have into coaching. I'm still doing personal branding coaching and I do it for coaches and service providers online that want to sell more and also for influencers. But my focus nowadays is less around strategy because it's super important and the step-by-step strategy will always be important for the basics. But I realized that to build a long-lasting personal brand that you can actually monetize for the rest of your life and actually achieve financial freedom and etc., you need to be more you. It's really about bringing out your best. So I am really focusing on that nowadays, together with the strategy because they are linked and intertwined beautifully. But that's what I'm doing nowadays. And I just opened the waitlist for my new Influence the membership. So I am gonna do a membership that is all dedicated to influencers and social media creators that want to actually build a strong personal brand. And it's gonna be a completely revolutionary way of seeing the influencer industry.
Wow. As you're talking, I already imagine all these things. So we are in 2024, and I know that within the span of 1 month, so many things are changing. Now, please remind me, why is it so important still to take personal branding seriously? We all kind of know, and I think the problem is that people think they know, and that is the worst thing. Can you give us a breakdown why this is still so important?
I think that there is a lot of talk out there regarding personal branding, but I think that people they didn't grasp yet what it really means. So some people they're using it as a synonym of being an influencer nowadays because it just sounds better. But there is a very big difference between being an influencer and being a personal brand, especially when we are talking about being Insta famous. So I don't consider everyone that has a huge amount of following on social media a personal brand because they might have a good exposure in social media, so they might be a very good tool to use for a lot of brands to partner up with. But at the end of the day, those kind of collaborations will end at some point. Usually influencers, they peak and then they start going down. The only thing that will keep them relevant for the long run is actually establishing a personal brand, which is a brand based on your persona. So, what is your persona? Or what is the persona that you want to showcase on social media? And I'm not saying this as, okay, you have to decide to be a different person on social media rather than in real life. But I'm saying this as, let's show on social media the real you, what you're really capable of doing.
Oh, wow. So what I hear, influencer and personal brand, very different things. And to me, honestly, that was merging in my head. And I'm blown away how you're just separating these two. And I didn't really know the difference, to be honest.
You know, there are so many words that are used nowadays so much in the social media space, like influencer, content creator, content curator, personal brand, Insta model, and etc. And they all kind of merge together. But if you are in the industry, you understand that these things are very different because some people, they don't want to be called influencers. They prefer to be called creators. Some people, they don't want to be called personal brands. They are more of influencer, especially because a lot of these words became overused and it's associated a kind of negative concept to it. Well, it's not like this. However, I feel that influencer as a word has been overused because literally it would mean a person of influence. But in a lot of cases, it's not like this. It's just a word that is used for people that are monetizing on social media
Let's
with
be
brand
honest.
collaborations.
Influencer often is associated with superficiality. We
Yeah.
know that. And that's where we are at this point. How do we go from here? How do we do it right?
Well, I think that that is up to the person, really, because at the end of the day, everything that is not very well known in the depth of it can be associated with negative concepts. Okay. So, because influencers and influencers are so all over the place and they are so public because they're actually in the eyes of everyone, then people just start associating it with, oh, just someone that makes money just to post or just to show their, their butt on social media or just to be hot. While it's not exactly like this, because that doesn't necessarily mean that they have an actual influence. So it's always up to the people that want to become influencers to understand what they're up to, and for the people that follow them to understand if this person is actually someone that can influence me in a positive way or no.
Yeah. Wow. So just what's coming up is that being influential and being an influencer, seen as an influencer, very different thing. And the power lies with having influence. What is the secret strategy to that? Now, I want to be influencing. What is that?
So there are many different things, but let's say that usually someone who wants to gain traction in social media and build a community there start feeling it inside, like hopefully not just because of the money, but also because they felt, oh, I can do this. So it comes from a desire of inspiring, connecting, creating, and helping as well. So we really need to stay true to these desires, because what I believe that happens and that make people less influential in the long run is that we all become too worried about the other's opinion on social media, because it's like you're in public now. So you are under the eyes of everyone. We are just so focused on just growing the followers and growing the likes and the engagement and all these numbers, and also pleasing the algorithm. People become obsessed with, oh my God, this video didn't do as well as this one, and they lose sight of what they're actually there to do or why they started.
Wow.
So I always emphasize with all my clients, and I cannot stress it enough, you need to forget about the algorithm. You need to forget about the numbers. You need to
But
go
Maria,
back to
there's
you.
so many
Yeah.
specialists that tell you otherwise. If you open your whatever social media platform, there's 57 ready experts telling you how you should manipulate the algorithm.
Well, I teach people how to build a long-lasting personal brand to monetize in the long run, whether they are on social media or no. While those other specialists, they are more what I call the social media gurus, that they tell you how to go viral and how to trick the algorithm
But
and so
that's
on.
not long lasting.
Also because they don't talk about it.
Yeah.
Okay, once I have all this audience, what am I gonna do with it?
Yeah.
Like, how am I gonna? I know influencers that make 4 figures with less than 3,000 followers, less than 3,000 followers.
Wow.
And influencers with more than 50,000, 100,000, they are still not getting paid collabs. So what is the good of having such a huge number if at the end of the day you don't know how to monetize it, and no one is actually preparing for you for that?
And you don't have influence.
Exactly.
What I'm hearing is that having influence is deep, it's long lasting,
Yes.
it matters.
Yes.
Being an influencer, maybe in the negative way, is not going to build you a business, is not going to build you longevity, and most importantly, impact.
Yeah.
Is that right?
It is very right. And this is also why I say to people, you need to really leverage your authenticity. Because you need to show people what you're capable of.
Yeah.
You went there to help create, connect, and to inspire. Show us how.
Why is it important, authenticity?
Because, well, authenticity anyway, if we want to put it in business terms, let's say, it's important nowadays on social media. Okay, it's what relates and connects. But it's even more important because it's sustainable. So if you're authentic, you will not have to, oh my God, I need to put up a facade all the time, and try to be different and try to be more elegant than what I really am and so on. So it's sustainable. It attracts the right people because at the end of the day, when you're building a personal brand, this is long lasting. It's going to last you all your life. Imagine what it would feel like faking it for the rest of your life and be in connection with people that are not really your tribe.
That's I mean, if we break it down, to be honest, that's how relationships are failing.
Yes.
So it's wow. So basically, what you do in one-on-one relationship with your friends, with your partners, if you translate that one to many, it's the same result. It's not going to work.
It's not going
Long
to
term.
work. And I see this all the time, not only with influencers, but also with coaches and service providers, because they are focused so much on the results. So making the sale or like this desperate, or for influencers is just getting followers, that they do not care about themselves anymore. But what do you like? Like, forget about the algorithm, forget about all these things. What would you do if those things were not problems? If you had already 1 million followers, if you had already 6 figures like guaranteed every month, and you see how much their reply is so different than what they're really doing now.
So we're chasing windmills.
We're chasing results. We are in the generation and the era of instant gratification, in which we
So
feel...
maybe we're chasing instant results.
Yes.
Because what I'm hearing from what you're sharing is that building a personal brand is creating results for yourself for the rest of your life, but you have to be patient and authentic.
Yes.
But what is happening now with most of the influencers is that they're chasing instant gratification that is inauthentic and short term.
And something that happens a lot is the comparison. Especially when you are a personal brand on social media, it's inevitable to start comparing yourself with others, with your competitors or colleagues that are doing better than you or whatever. Why that influencer is doing better? Why that coach is selling more?
But isn't that I'm researching my competitors? Like,
It would be if, look, competition is everywhere. Okay, you will always have competitors in every field of life, but social media makes it so polished and so highlighted that you feel worse. Like in general, people feel worse and they feel like they're not doing good. While I always say, so it affects their mental health. And what I always say is, do not compare, because you never know what is behind a promotion and what that person has been through to reach that level.
So if I said, okay, I'm sorry I'm interrupting because this is such an important topic. So if I stop comparing, what should I do instead?
You should get inspired. You should look at those things and feel, this is where I can go. I always say this to all my clients. I understand, look, the comparison can be good for you to understand the market, for you to set the tone, set the standard. Competition is healthy if taken in the good way.
Yeah.
But it shouldn't be a way for you to feel bad or to put yourself down or to feel like I cannot make it. It should be a way for you to understand that you can reach there as well.
Yeah. And again, that it's so interesting. Every conversation we have, that brings us back to how is it that you are being with yourself. And by the way, if you guys are watching, go and find Maria, watch our previous episodes, because we spend entire episodes dedicated to that. Super valuable. So go and watch it. But my question today is, if we move forward a little bit, what is the ABC of authenticity? So if there's, say, 3 things. I'm an influencer. I have some kind of a following. I'm not making any money. I am worried, obsessed, constantly feel bad when I see my competitors doing better, feeling lost, right? I need guidance. I need to do something right now. What are the 3 things I can start doing to turn myself around?
You should really get your power back. Like, remember.
So number 1, get my power back.
Yes.
What do I do? Like, what do I do? Is actionable. What do I do? What does it mean?
Actionable. It's
Yeah.
like, ask yourself, what would you do if you didn't have the anxiety of the money, the followers, the algorithm, and all of this? And whatever you're applying to that, you have to make it your daily things that you have to do.
Okay. Number 1. Number 2.
Number 2, get your power back, even in the sense of do not wait for the external validation. If a video or a content that you put out there doesn't do well, it does not define your success. It's a thing. It's one thing. You know how many times I failed in my life as an entrepreneur?
How
and
many?
also as an influencer. I have so many. But the thing is that I don't take them as I failed. I take them as, okay, this sucked. Well, let's start again. I take it as a
Learn
lesson.
and move on.
Exactly. Because you cannot be successful
Yeah.
100% of the time, all your life.
Yeah.
You are not there yet. You're not superhuman.
So stop being so hard on yourself. Take it lighter. Learn and move on. Number 2. Number 3.
Number 3, just be confident that there is an audience for everything. Just be confident that there is a solution, like you are offering a solution for a problem that some people have for sure. Like there is a tribe, your tribe out there. So
And that's the hardest part. Now, I would add number 4, hire a coach. Just honestly, because what you said are things that everybody knows, but we know with our heads, but we don't do. So I think a powerful coach bridges the gap between knowing what I need to do, because we all have smart brains, and actually implementing that into changing how you think and changing those results. That is so important to me. And honestly, it's everything that shifts. That's the shift. Now, I'm going to go back to the algorithm, because it's just like my mind is so ingrained in us. We open the app, there's people telling, do this, do this, do that, and you're going to go viral and blah, 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 whatever. What from your holistic perspective, because that's what I'm seeing, you're looking at bigger picture. How important is the algorithm?
Well, the algorithm is for sure important because it's a tool. It's like when you drive a car, you need to understand how to drive it. You need to be friendly to the car. It's not like, okay, I will try to pull the wheel now. No, this is not how it
2024,
works.
April 24, what works?
Well, in this moment, the algorithm is so criticized all over the place, especially for Instagram. However, it's a tool. Always remember that it's a tool. And once you understand how to drive around, there is no secret sauce that is gonna make you drive it better. Like, it's not, if you suck as a driver, it doesn't matter if I give you a Ferrari or if I give you a Panda. That was a very old car in Italy, okay?
Yeah.
You are still gonna drive the same. Yes, the Ferrari can help you a bit, but it is what it is. You need to learn how to drive properly. So it's putting in reps. The algorithm is not like, I hear so many people saying, the algorithm hates me. The algorithm is not a person. The algorithm is like a system, which is actually a lot of algorithms working together, that is just acting based on the behavior of people in your posting. So there is always this weird concept of like, oh, the algorithm is this evil robot that is there waiting for me to post something and say immediately no, while it's not like this. Like, it's just a robot, let's say, that works based on how people react in your content. So it's normal. Like, if people don't react in your content, they don't save, they don't like, they don't share, and maybe the problem is you. But it's not like, oh my god, the problem is you, stop.
Something wrong with me.
It's like, it's your power to improve it. If the problem is you and not the algorithm, it's in your power and it's your responsibility to improve it. So you have the power. You have the power to do that. Once you learn the basic strategy of social media, like how to do high resolution content, how to make together some beautiful shots, and how to talk to the camera in a way that is not for 3 hours. Like once you have those things down,
Those are skills.
there's nothing else that you really need in terms of strategy.
So what I'm hearing is your relationship with yourself, and based on that, growth mindset, all of those concepts that we always talk about, you're going to develop a relationship with your audience. Wow.
Based on
But
your relationship
but what
with
I
yourself.
see is so many people think they should focus on the relationship with the algorithm.
The thing is this: if you want to put it in technical terms, really, and just talking strategy here,
Yeah.
what is valuable for brands is your exposure and your selling power.
Yeah.
Okay, this is why brands would hire an influencer to work for them.
Yeah.
So it's basically how many people are gonna see what you're doing, what you're talking about, and that is brand awareness, or they just want to drive more sales.
So the currency is
And-
trust. How is it? Because if people trust you as an influencer, not only follow you, they
Yes.
trust you, they trust your choice, they have confidence in you.
But there is a little nuance there.
Which one?
Because audience
Yeah.
is not 100% guaranteeing that they trust you. Community is. So
What is the
it's
difference?
The difference is that a lot of people, again, use community as a synonym of the audience that they have. So for example, on TikTok, I have 160,000 people. Do you think I have community with all of them? No. No, they don't even know me. Some of them, they just followed me because maybe they saw one of my videos that went viral 3 years ago and they thought, oh, cool. They followed me and then never saw me again. The community I have on my channels is few people that are there, no matter where I go, no matter how many social media I change and profile I change, and because I did a lot in the past year, they follow me. They ask me, where are you? And they want to come where I am and listen to me. That is community. It's the power.
Okay, can I just pause? That is gold.
Yeah, it is. And that is your currency with brands. It's not just the amount of followers that you have. Because a lot of people translate
That
this
is so
as...
2017.
Yes, that is so 2012, actually. It's not only the... Like, it's not really the amount of followers you have, and it's not the engagement. Because many people say, oh, but if I have a high engagement rate, it means that they see me. Yes, that's true. It's still better to have a high engagement rate. But the best is having loyal community that activates, that you can activate. That is the difference. Because why do you see, I always give this example, okay? Why you can see coaches that are keeping on selling, even if they have 5,000 followers maximum.
Why?
Because they have community, because they know how to activate an audience. Okay that they are selling, but I assure you that coaches online, they don't only sell. Like, I personally have people that have been following me since I started being a coach online and never bought from me because they just cherish and like they think what I'm saying it's important.
Yeah.
And I have people that they come across me and they just buy.
Yeah.
So it's very different, the selling process for an influencer, because it's not B2C, but it's B2B, basically.
Yeah.
But the way you want to activate your audience is the same. It's you need that community that follows you around, because that is what is going to make a brand feel that you're like so valuable.
Wow. I need to pause to take all in. That's incredible value right there. It's incredible. And that is the 2024. People need to be in a community, and we have to build a community. Now, I have a question. What are the things that influencers do that helps them fail?
Not building community, for example.
Yeah.
Because if you're just hot, or if you're just funny, or if you're just... And that's what you put in your social media all the time, and you never put the behind the scenes or something to build a real connection, that is going to make you fail at some point, because that is just social media famous. Like you pick, and then at some point when you're not trendy anymore, or when, I don't know, someone else comes along that is newer, people will just, okay, forget about you. So that is number one. The second thing is lack of consistency. Meaning that I feel too many people give up too soon because they expected things overnight. If there is one thing that I always say to my clients is that there is no difference between being an entrepreneur and being an influencer or a personal brand on social media.
So no difference. Say that again.
There is no difference between being an entrepreneur and being an influencer or a personal brand in social media, whatever you want to call it.
That is so cool. That is so cool right there. So what is the set of skills that if you are an influencer and you want to holistically integrate the entrepreneurship within, what are some skills that you are teaching in your new product that you're launching? I know you're launching. What are the skills that they need, that they're missing? What is the missing links for them?
Well, first is consistency.
And so you teach that?
Consistency no matter what.
Okay. So you do teach that?
Yes.
Fantastic.
Why is that so important? Because if you want to learn something, you need to put in reps.
Yeah.
Reps.
And you need the community to stay consistent, I think.
Yes. Like, you need to be consistent to have a community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But do you need to be in a community to be consistent?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
Also because you have to build it at the beginning.
Yeah.
So until you don't build it, you have to motivate yourself.
Yeah.
So it's about really putting in reps and managing expectations. Because I feel that because we live in the era of instant results, instant gratification, and so on, people don't have a real idea of what it means being an influencer. It's not just, you post something and very nice. No, it's putting in the work, it's doing the content, it's being creative, it's having problems sometimes with the creativity, with inspiration, and so on. So putting in the reps, super important.
What else?
Second, I would say that is learning how to detach from the outcome.
Oh, that's so hard.
I know, but
that's so hard because especially I would imagine brands or whoever is working with you, they are asking for those insights. How many, like it's how do you detach from that?
Well, do you feel nervous every single time that you have a new client?
No.
So because you're confident that your service is good.
Yeah.
You need to reach the same point. So I understand that you cannot really predict how your content is gonna perform. But if you know deep down that your content is of value, your community anywhere is there. If you're not fake it till you make it type of energy, but you are just like, you're legit.
Yeah.
Why would you still be so attached to the outcome? Like, the thing is, again, self-value. It's being self-worth, is being aware that you have a value.
Yeah.
And that no one, not even the best brand in the history of brands, can come to you and tell you, sorry, your content sucked. And you are like, okay, I will stop being an influencer. Because there is always a curve of improvement, always. So they are just lessons.
Value yourself and constantly improve.
Yeah.
It's so interesting. And there is so much pressure on people of influence. There is so much pressure to get there. And when you get there, there's so much pressure to continue the growth. So how important is for people of influence, can I call them that?
Yes.
People of influence work with professionals like you. So let's say, okay, I have influence, I've created a community. What is the value? Say, hey, there's the next level for me. Let's say for those kind of people, what is it that you've helped them with?
Well, I have been an influencer myself, and I managed influencers for 5 years, 4 of which with my own agency. So, and I manage more than 70 influencers. And in the past 1 year, since I shifted to coaching, I work with other 20 influencers as a coach. So I really know the ins and outs of the influencer industry from the side of an influencer, from the side of the brand.
Oh, wow.
And I think that professionalism wise, influencers, they can have amazing influence, but then they cannot translate it into approaching the brands or translate it into having actual money, consistent money. And because, as I was telling you before, because it's such a competitive and public space, they need someone that keeps their mindset straight.
Wow.
Because it's a very, very difficult, actually very easy to go into the rabbit hole, you know. And what I saw with the clients that I have, now the influencers that signed with me as a coach, they never stop being with me. Some of the ones that I have in the
Why would you?
private coaching.
Why would you?
And
Stop.
it's a continue mindset work and a continuous strategy implementation, because their growth can be so fast that we need to always like be able to hold it. Because what is dangerous about social media is that sometimes you can have growth overnight. Your video last year, one of my videos went super viral. That was with you actually. I got 40,000 followers in 2 weeks.
That's
Maybe less.
That's a lot.
That is gonna, like, if someone go from 0 to 40,000 in one night, they're not gonna be able to hold it.
Yeah.
They don't have the abilities to hold it energetically
Yeah.
and
Professionally.
professionally and strategically.
So what I hear with the coaching that you do, you help people not only achieve success, but most importantly, keep that.
Yes.
Because it doesn't matter how quickly and how much you achieve, but if you're unable to make it sustainable and keep it, you know, it's a disaster, because then all of these thoughts are coming in. I'm not good enough. What is it? You've tasted it. It's just a pitfall of misery that is potentially opening for you.
Yes.
That is incredible. And why not everybody? Why is this not so widely known and so widely utilized? Why do every successful influencer, do they have a coach? Every single one?
No, they usually look for a manager. But the reason why I stopped being a manager myself and I decided it's not fulfilling me anymore.
Right.
So actually, I was a successful manager. Like, I had a very successful agency and everything, and I was successful as an influencer as well. I was making at least 4 paid collabs per month and
Wow.
so on. But at some point, I felt this is not what I want to do. Well, I never really wanted to be an influencer anyway, so that for me was just making sense because it happened, and I'm the type of person that milked the cow, you know. So it made sense. I was already having an agency of influencer management, so I was cross-selling. But the influencer managing part of it was very much based on running after the next paid collab. So we were doing good, but I didn't see the growth. I couldn't see how I could bring the influencers I was managing from point A to point B or C or D. Like,
Only with managing.
only with managing, I wasn't seeing how this would happen. Because a manager, like, to make the agency survive, to make the influencer survive, what we do is more about, okay, let's make them work. But from one side, all this work was not really making me able to, you know, grow them. To say, okay, let's reach a point though. And like, not all of them, of course, but some of the people that I managed in my life, they were not even that interested in the growth on its own. They wanted just to have the perks of being an influencer or just the money. Like, for them, it was more a money goal rather than a growth goal. So it was less of personal branding, if
Yeah.
you understand what I mean.
Got it.
And I was like, no, I want to teach influencers how to do this for themselves. Also because, to be honest with you, as a manager, I was taking 25% of every single deal that they were making. And it's a lot. And it's money that you don't need to share with a manager. And when I was an influencer, I was not having a manager. I was doing it for myself. And it's
Yeah.
possible. It's not that
So
difficult.
basically, hold on. Basically, working with a coach, the influencers are saving,
Basically,
might be
yes.
able to save. So you teach them the strategy of how they can self-manage
Yes.
and grow.
Yes.
I mean, that's
Yes.
that's a ridiculously good deal.
Yeah, because I've been a manager, and honestly, with all honesty, I can say it's not worth it to have a manager. It's not because I can say like
This
there's
is a
nothing.
hugely kept
Yes.
secret.
Look, I know what I was making. I know what they were making, and I know what I was doing. And honestly, it was a lot of work what I was doing because I was managing many of them at the same time. But it's not something that an influencer cannot learn.
Wow.
You know, a lot of people, they think, oh, if I have a manager, the manager already has the connections to brands, so she can already.
So basically, a manager leverages your. So if you're an influencer, if I'm understanding correctly,
No, opposite.
so the manager
Influencers-
leverages your influence and say, I'm managing this. Or do they really have connections or they're-
managers.
Yes.
Yes, of course, because for example, in my 5 years, I built relationship with a lot of
Yeah.
brands and a lot of agencies.
Yeah.
So if I was getting a new influencer, I would directly introduce them. However, this is not something that influencer cannot do on their own. Like, I don't think that having a manager is fundamental until you are a celebrity type of influencer, like millions and millions of followers.
Yeah.
So managers, usually people want to hire them because they think I don't have brands deals.
Yeah.
So a manager will make me have them.
Yeah.
No, this is not how it works, because if you don't have brand deals without me, a manager will not hire you anyway. Like, you have to be a monetizable profile for a manager to choose to work with you.
To pick you, and for really good managers. But this, what you just said, that up to a certain point, you teach them the skills and the mindset, most importantly, to manage themselves so that they put themselves in a position where big successful managers will work with them and big successful brands will work with them.
Yeah.
That is amazing. And the foundation for that, what I heard, you said it was authenticity.
And it's super important that they understand how to manage themselves, because once they become a big deal and they really want a successful manager, they know how to discern.
Yeah.
Because if you don't know what a manager actually does, and if you don't know how to manage yourself,
Yeah.
you're going to trust them. I saw so many people in the field being managed by people that were not putting 1 centimeter of effort inside what they were doing, and they wouldn't know how to judge because they didn't know how to do it themselves.
Wow. So
So,
know
yeah.
the blocking steps, the building steps of what you're doing, of your industry, be authentic, and most importantly, start with the right people. That's just incredible. And somebody would say, well, Maria, this is all good, but then I can find all this information online. What is the difference between finding the information online and actually working with someone like you?
Well, I never found the information online, to be honest with you. Like, when I was an influencer myself,
Yeah.
and myself, I had a moment in which I was also obsessed with the algorithm. Like,
Yeah.
it was a short moment, but I had it because it's normal to be sucked inside of that, right? I never found anyone that was talking about social media in a way that was healthy. I always found people telling you how to fix the algorithm problem, how to do this, how to do
Fueling your
that.
FOMO.
Exactly. So I think that a coach, because they have the experience and that level of humanity, they will always be able to take your hand and go with you. Because a coach doesn't do the work for you, but they guide you through it and they support you through it until you can actually, walk on your own.
Yeah. You know what I heard also? A coach is looking after your best interest.
Yes.
So what is the difference? Why would a coach look for your best interest? How is this a guarantee?
Because if a client doesn't bring results, it's a loss also for us
Okay.
as
Okay.
coaches. So I would always, and I said to all the influencers I work with, I told them, especially the ones that are in the 101 long programs, my goal is not to have you forever. My goal is that at some point you are gonna leave me because you are gonna be able to fly on your own. But I will always be there for your next milestone, because it's when you hit the next milestone that you might have, okay, now what should I do? So I will be here. But a manager will stay with you for years and years.
because
Like I managed
that's
some
your,
people for 5 years,
Yeah.
A coach shouldn't be like that. Yes, there could be a bit of in and out, but I shouldn't have people in my program for 5 years. Like it means something is not coaching, you know?
Yeah. Something isn't working. So I'm curious for somebody who is, let's say, in that point, say, okay, I am ready and I've had sour experiences. I want to build my brand. But then I've built my brand so far, so built my influence so far in a certain way. How do I pivot? So done. I don't want to do this. I want to start being authentic. But I have all of this already built.
That could be a problem. Okay. And I understand. However, never panic. Okay. Let's take one step at a time.
Okay.
And I think that at that point, you need to go by trials. So you need to see if posting something that is more authentic to you still works or no for you. You have to see a bit how it works, but I wouldn't be surprised to tell you like the best choice is starting from the beginning. Because I saw many creators doing that nowadays, because they built communities that were kind of wrong, and they started from the beginning. So, it depends on so many factors. For example, I'm not using my TikTok anymore for coaching purposes, because my TikTok, okay, many people might not know this, but TikTok is a regional app. So it works for regions, on
Okay.
regions.
Okay.
So have you ever asked yourself why you don't see the Italian For You page here in Dubai?
Yeah, because we are in the region. Yeah.
Yes, but if you go on Instagram, you can see posts from all over the world, more or less. There isn't the same separation this much.
Yeah.
And it is because me, for example, I created my TikTok with a SIM card from UAE while I was in UAE. So my TikTok, and this is because I spoke with TikTok corporate that explained me this, my TikTok is basically legally, let's call it legally, registered under TikTok Arabia. And the Middle East, which covers more or less the Middle East, like the Gulf, the Middle East, and a bit of most probably Asia, like Pakistan. And that's not my target audience for coaching. Like for anything else, it was. For influencing, yes, why not? Actually, the Gulf was my target audience, but for coaching, no. I don't know if you ever noticed this.
Yeah, I think I did. And tell me this, you know, in 5 minutes we're wrapping up, but I still have a question. Since we're talking about regions, what is the how is coaching? How do you feel coaching is perceived in the region that we are? Speaking of TikTok and the region.
Okay, for my specific type of coaching, which is around personal branding, business, influencer coaching, I don't see a lot of impact, because my highest sales month.
But let me ask you this: many influencers do choose to live in Dubai.
Yeah, but I don't think that they are necessarily on TikTok. Or they are necessarily getting across my content, because
So they're still global.
Not exactly, but I think that my content, because I don't have a lot of impact, like how many influencers are gonna see my content in the whole region? They are a small percentage. So if the content doesn't really resonate with my followers at the moment, it's gonna be more difficult to end up in the For You page. And anyway, personally, I don't love the UAE region for influencers culture. So I would definitely want to be more in Western Europe and
How do you do
North
that?
America.
Let's say you're based in Dubai, you're in the UAE. how do you reach people in, in different regions?
Stay tuned, because I still don't know.
Ah.
It's still a part of discovery and research that I'm trying to do, because I know that a lot of people have problem with their geographic audience,
Yeah.
also influencers. And I wreck my head around it
Yeah.
to really understand how to do that, including talking with TikTok corporate.
Yeah.
I tried VPN, I tried everything, and for the
Yeah.
moment it's not working. So I just left my TikTok on the side.
Right.
But I will most probably start a TikTok from the beginning
Yes.
once I understand this better. So this is also why I support people that start from the beginning in case your audience is not aligned.
So do not be afraid to open your mind to new information, because there's always new information. That's why this field is so dynamic. Always have your mind open, because new information will be available and there's always a solution for your problem. I absolutely love and adore. Last word, if you say, okay, so we're living now, speaking to your influencer, you're looking at them, they're struggling, you know their challenges. What is one piece of advice or an invitation that you have for them?
You are going to be you no matter where you are. So don't be afraid to change platform, to start a new profile, because the skills you have are the same. And you, like you did it once, you can do it twice. And you is the best asset that you can have.
Beautiful, beautiful. Where can people find you?
They can find me here in my YouTube channel, and then in my social media, Instagram, where I have the Maria Cisco Avenue handle.
We need to continue this conversation. This was amazing. Thank you so much. I'm
Thank
leaving
you, Leah.
with a notepad full of notes. Thank you so much. See you next time.
Thank you.